Well, way back in the day on the original Zelda, I was looking for a name because it had where you could put in a couple of different letters rather than just your initials. And so little me was like, and like randomly typed in Zaire. And I'm like, that looks very name-ish. And so I kept it. And then every time after that, I needed a name for a game. I just used Zaire, and that's how it became my pretty much gaming name. Yeah, there are a couple of other Zaires, but it is like, I think there's only that I've been able to find one other in the US and a couple of others like all around the world. But the only other Zaire I was able to find here in the US is somebody who did it as a pen name, and they did Buffy and the Vampire Slayer fan fiction, but they were always with, let's see, it was with Spike and Angel going at it all the time. Let's see, I streamed for a couple of months, about 3 years ago, about 4 years ago now. And I got to about 100 followers and whatnot, and then I was trying to figure out like a way to get basically over 10 viewers. I was kind of locked in at about 7. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to come up with like a really, really great character and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And so anyway, I took what I thought was going to be like a 2-month break. It ended up being about a 2, maybe 3-year break. And then I started streaming with Dear Boy actually 1 year ago, but I did that on Kick, and then I came over here to Twitch. Yeah, but anyway, I was running around in Dear Boy here, and 2 situations happened back to back, like one after the other. So the first is I ran into an old friend. I hadn't met them in years, and they had apparently forgotten about me. I wasn't wearing any of my normal avatars. I was here in Dear Boy, and I was being a mute at the time. So I didn't feel bad that they didn't go, aha, because I was enjoying being incognito, But anyway, they have been streaming for a long time, and have done pretty well with it, and is kind of like the mentor to a lot of the streamers that I know here in VR chat. And so anyway, so I'm doing my prancing around, like dancing for him, being all bubbly, and he starts like telling me like, thinking I'm a stranger, and he's like, you know what, you should really start streaming, blah blah blah, you got the entire thing right here, I think you'd do really well, and so having somebody that I knew and respected their opinion a lot, telling me that was like a huge boost. And so I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should. Maybe it is time to get back into streaming, And so the very next night, I am like doing the same thing. I'm finding like a random person to like tease and like up on, like petting them and doing the whole thing. And anyway, he is completely baked out of his mind. He is nice and cross-faded, drunk and high. And so he's like looking at me, and he's like, you're like a person. And I'm just like, what? He's like, yeah, you're totally like a real person. And I had no idea what he's talking about. And his friend who's with him is trying to translate, and he's like, okay, you got an entire character. He's saying that you have a whole character there, And he's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, having those two like happen like back to back, like really pushed me to go, okay, it is time to get back into streaming. Well, okay, Pika, if it's an honest question, what color is your tabletop? Is it wood? So basically, are you looking at, is it stained or is it painted? Depending on how like deep the scratch is there's a couple of different ways you can repair it. The easiest is that they actually sell like a good nice wood pulp that you can get that's like a paste. You put that in and then you sand it out. And then once you sand it out, it's going to also sand off quite a bit of the stain around it as well. So then you're going to have to get a matching stain. And then you're going to have to like do just a little dab there, you know, and stain it to match the rest of the table. And then once that is done, then you're going to have to put another glaze on top of your stain. And when you do seal it, I would recommend just sealing the entire table instead of just that little patch. Digital remain